NPFL, Rangers International, the champions of the 2023/2024 NPFL season. A fantastic season for them. Shout out to a friend of the house, Amobi Eziaku, who is the GM, the CEO, and also a player for Rangers International. I think he's probably the first person to win the league as the CEO and a player in Nigerian league history. But they had a fine season. Fantastic rally in the second half of the season to really climb up the table, to clinch that spot in, again, Amobi Eziaku's first year in charge. I think, it shows that when you put square pegs in square holes, when you put round pegs in round holes, when you do the right things, when you put the right people in the right positions, success is very possible. And, within 1 year, for them to have been able to achieve it, is really incredible. I would have ordinarily thought that, maybe they would take 1 or 2 seasons to build, to get their house in order, but to win it in their first season is fantastic. And also, I have to give a shout out to the coach, Fidelis Ilechukwu, is a veteran of the NPFL. He has been there for a long time now, and for him to win his first title with Rangers, kudos to him. He said is the walking one, so that's the nickname that the man gave himself. And we also saw him giving us some legwork after their final game of the season over the weekend. Smith Layi, your thoughts? Rangers International, champions of the NPFL.
Thanks for actually was bringing me on again. It's hard to believe that Rangers was fighting relegation last season, and now they are champions of the NPFL. Imagine, it reminds me of Leicester that struggled to get promoted, and the next season they are now champions of the Premier League. So kudos to Amobi. He did his finger calls around in Europe and everywhere. He brought the idea, what he learned in Europe. He brought it back home. I was on Instagram Live with him. He showed me what they did. I was so impressed. He was trying to create new idea, new environment, conducive environment for these guys. And I'm actually really impressed with that. So, this is the time now they are the champions in 74, champions in 75, 77, 81, 82, 84, 2016 and 2024. So two of the league wins now, Amobi has really played a very key role, in that victory. And I remember I spoke to him too that since you are playing now, if they call you to Super Eagles, will you will you? Oh no, he said no, that he's just playing because he loves Rangers, and kudos to him. I'm happy that they were able to get their stadium ready. I'm happy that the governor, Peter Mbarili, actually supported them. I'm happy that they brought in a manager, that they think that can change things, that can turn things around. Don't forget, it was second with Play 2. It was second with MFM. Now he's a champions, and I like, that's what I talk about pattern. When you see a coach that understands the game, you will know. His idea of this football is about game pressing. He presses from the front and, try to win the ball early, then attack. You can hardly count games they lost away from home. Even the 3SC game they lost in Ibadan, they were meant to have drawn that game. That penalty was a penalty, but unfortunately the referee did not see it. So I'm happy with everything they did. I just hope that the governor can keep on supporting them, and I hope that they can perform well in next year's CAF Champions League.
All right. And just to wrap up on the NPFL very quickly, even though this is my club, let's just talk about it. Sporting Lagos, 1 year up, 1 year down. First season in the NPFL and they're back down. Social media did not stop with the banter of people just insulting and laughing at Sporting Lagos. I know that you follow the NPFL, quite well, as much as you can from where you are. What do you think went wrong with Sporting Lagos? Why, with the investment, with the management, why could they not stay up, in this NPFL season?
Two things. One, if you cannot, they did not win any game away from home. They didn't win any game away from home. And if you are now losing at home, you lost at home, you are drawing at home, and you cannot win away, you are in trouble. You are actually you are in trouble. And I know, and I think that when you have a club like that, there should be a clear goal about what you actually want. And I remember I saw the interview of Peter Ofo, the former coach or so, Ofo, that he went on Brilla FM. He said that the idea was that they should qualify for the continent. It's hard. You can't be coming from the NNL and you say you want to, you want to muzzle, you want to bully those people and qualify for the continent directly. You have to be experienced. You have to learn. You have to, just your major aim is to survive first. So immediately I saw them lost at home against Plateau United, which I think that in a very controversial manner. That was horrible refereeing. When they lost at home against Plateau, I knew that their time in the NPFL is coming. Is drawing
But
close.
Smith Layi, let me ask you just how about Remo Stars? Did Remo Stars not come up from the NNL and qualify for Europe, or did it take them 2 years? I think
Remo, they came and they went, they came back and they did well. It's not as if,
okay. So it wasn't their first ever season. Yeah, that's true.
uh,
That's true. So they had a little bit of experience by that time.
experience, yes. And they brought in Benga Bumbote,
Yeah.
a seasonal coach that understands the NPFL very well. It took them to the continent. So if you are bringing a coach that's do you think he's wearing suits that is coaching? See, the NPFL is a very difficult terrain. You have to know how to navigate it. If not, you're gonna be in soup.
Okay.
That is it.
Okay. Hopefully, for me, I like Sporting Lagos. In fact, I bought their jersey. So I really hope that they can bounce back. I don't like to support relegation teams, so they, they need to bounce back. Okay, so like sticking with the NPFL, let's just talk about the statistic leaders, the players who stood out according to the statistics in the NPFL. So for goals scored, the top goal scorer in the league was Chijioke Mbaoma of Eimba with 17 goals. I think he beats Ali Sekiru by 2 goals, I believe. So shout out to him. Top assist leader was Sadiq Ismail, Smith Layi's popularly known as Sadiq Bending, was the top assist leader. 13 assists for Remo Stars from the right back position. So kudos to him. And then the top clean sheets, Amas Obasoge of Bendel Insurance with 18 clean sheets. 18 clean sheets in the season. That's quite an impressive record. Almost half of the games keeping a clean sheet. So like my question now to you is, these 3 guys who are the top stats leaders. Obviously, I know it doesn't necessarily mean that they are the best, but you can assume that they are some of the best players that the NPFL has. Can these guys realistically play in the Super Eagles? We've seen Sadiq, he got caught up by Finidi George. Obasoge has not been getting caught up. It has been Olorinleke that has been taking that spot. Mbaoma has not been caught up. So just looking at these 3 players who were the best statistically in the NPFL, is there any chance that they can play for the Super Eagles and do well? What do you think?
Yeah, for me, I'm talking about goalkeeper. Amas Obasoge is a fantastic goalkeeper. Not even doing well in the NPFL. I remember watching this game in a CAF Confed Cup game in Algeria for Bender Insurance against is the MC Algiers. He stood between MC Algiers and progressed to the next stage. It was fantastic. And that is what we want. Fantastic goalkeeper. And there's one thing that people do fail to mention. You have to appreciate the Bender Insurance Center defenders. You have to appreciate the job they are putting in. I won't lie to you. If the Bender Insurance goalkeeper defenders were not doing a very good job, I must forget to I must go be this. I won't lie to you. So but that does not take that away from Amas Obasoge. He's a fantastic goalkeeper. I think realistically, I think that it can challenge, but I'm not really sure that it can be first choice in the Super Eagles. It can be a squad member in his zone. And I always look at this thing that if not because of CAF, these guys should have opportunity to show themselves, in a CHAN competition in Africa. Then if they excel very well, we can talk about Super Eagles. I think that there's a step before Super Eagles for them. And there is you mentioned about Sadiq Bending. He's a very good player. You know, I just call him the Arnold of the
Of the NPFL.
of the Alexander Arnold of the MPFL, because very good, but he's suspect defending. We have to be honest about that. His primary role is actually what defend from the right back, but he's suspect the guy is actually what defending sometimes too. And the MPFL, you have enough space to cross. If not, you know, you wouldn't do well. So in my own opinion, he did well at the start of the season. The team dropped slightly and it peaked towards the end. So in my own personal opinion, I still think that the guys we have in the Super Eagles, they are still way ahead of him. And to talk about the 21-year-old Mbaoma, you see, good
Okay.
player. Yes, good player, fantastic player. But if you look at the people he's competing with, in the striking position for Nigeria, you will not even put him side by side with Gift Urban. You have to look at it. So, in my own opinion, I think that the only person that think that can compete very well should be Amas Obasoge.
So
Yes.
Amas Obasoge potentially can compete with the options that we have
Yeah,
in the
yes.
Super Eagles goalkeeping position.